Ha cha 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 cha. Well, all right, scavengers. Buenos dias. How we doing? All right. Well, as promised, we're gonna do a quick little follow-up for you guys. Been out here working on some stuff. It's getting tied up in here, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of go by the numbers, and I'll just kind of drag things out as we kind of found them, or I'll try to anyway, and then we'll just go through everything we got, see what we got, see what we don't got, and then we'll see what more we got. But anyways, that being said, y'all, let's get to it. Okay, well, we started it off. I believe first dumpster was like a couple of pieces of brass, copper, things like that. That's already been sorted out. The box, we had some speakers in here, some Iowa. These look like little surround sound speakers. Maybe even can be used for speakers around the computer, that type of stuff. It had these a little bit of some speaker wire in there, and then the old Samsung docking stations. I don't know if these are probably all obsolete at this point, but it was in that box. Along with that gray case, it had the oxygen stuff. Someone said that they had worked at a nursing home, and that actually belonged to like a little crash kit. Get the heart going, you know, check the heart. This little thing I thought was an EpiPen. It's actually just for, like, you know, check my pupils. Check my pupils. Am I still alive? Am I still alive? So, you know, cool little stuff there. We got these HDMI extenders, these iGens. That's electronic guy department. Same thing over here, the Work S24. And then somewhere along the way, we picked up this Dell Optiplex 380. I find a lot of these. I guess these are probably like the preferred computer that they use these days. But if you look right here, it's got the hard drive in it. Not good, guys. Supposed to pull those out before you throw it out. I mean, unless you wipe it, of course, unless you wipe it. But yeah, got an Optiplex, what's that, 380? A little bit older. Windows 7, yeah, so probably 15 years old, I would say, somewhere in there. Maybe even older. I guess what would have come next was probably these jar lids, all these gold jar lids. I think someone said we had 16 cases, and it says there's like 750 a case. So y'all do the math. We got like 8,000 or so, 9,000 lids. But someone had commented, Mike, those may not be good. I hate to burst your bubble. The seals could be no good on them. And I was just kind of curious, and I was looking online, and I was like, do these have a shelf life? Because there is a seal right here. And sure enough, there's a shelf life of 5 years on canning lids. And this says 5/19/2018, meaning that this is just in a couple of months. These are going to be 5 years old and past their shelf life. So that's why they ended up in the dumpster. These probably can't be sold as canning because I don't think that it would, you know, the seal could fail and you get oxygen in there and then your canned stuff gets all moldy. But they could probably still be used for candle jars. There's a lot of them here. That's a lot. That's a lot. And further moving along, the dumpster, the Locksmith dumpster. That's the only thing I could basically call this guy. It's a Locksmith dumpster. It had all the lock stuff, and then it had this big box over here, this Gentech. It's Gentech model SY-29x23 ENC kit. I looked this puppy up online. Someone's selling one for around 490 bucks, you know, 400, 500 bucks, somewhere in there. This guy, I believe, is used. There's a broken key in the lock. I have no way of telling if this is used, but it definitely looks like it's been wired up. Probably replace some old equipment out or something like that. So we'll see what we can do with this big old guy right here. But yeah, even the box alone, like the enclosure, someone's trying to get 100 bucks just for the closure on this guy alone. Awesome find. But along with that Gentech box was all the lock stuff. So I kind of got everything sorted out as, you know, much as we could. This guy, obviously, I'm going to take it apart even further. But just a little lock display. All of these, I believe these are called hasps. They are a low-grade stainless steel. We'll separate them out, see if the yard will actually give me anything for them. There's a little bit of stickiness going on here. And they typically, if there's any kind of stickiness, they won't even take it as stainless because that's a little bit lesser grade of 304. And I think 304 stainless, my particular yard is the lowest grade of stainless that they take. So anything lower than that is going to have a little bit of magnetism, but they don't seem to want to take it. So a lot of these guys in here, sometimes they're brass, sometimes they're stainless. Got some locks here, American Lock 885. Bunch of brackets. I believe these all are for, says American Lock model 535. Pieces of lock, that's all just steel right there. The Kivos that we found, I kind of was digging through them a little bit. I don't believe these are new. Yeah, these are definitely, these are the old ones. Somebody came out, put some new locks. These are the old ones. But as we've seen in previous videos, these outer housings here, they could be cast aluminum. This looks like it's gonna be cast aluminum. Sometimes they're stainless. So we'll go ahead and scrap those out the way they are. Same thing back here, there's another one, and it's the same deal. It looks like it was replaced and they just put the old one in there. That happens a lot, and then you think you've got something new and you really don't. But it's still scrap, it's still good. It's still okay to do your thing. Over here, these are called locking cylinders, I believe is what one of them had said. There's some cast aluminum in here. These shiny pieces, these are a little bit heavier. You would think maybe stainless since they're not magnetic. And you put the wheel to it. I don't know if y'all can actually see that with the light, but it's a yellow brass. So we've got some yellow brass in here, cast aluminum, and then these super light ones, they could either be they could be stainless or aluminum. Let me see. Yeah, it's throwing a little bit of a spark. So these are going to be stainless steel, but there's also some aluminum in here. So we got some brass, some stainless, and some cast aluminum. Go through, clean that up. Big lock over here. These are usually made of some pretty decent stuff. It's got a little bit of magnetism, but it's probably the back plate. If I had to take a stab at it, I'd say from the weight, this is probably brass. Yep, yeah, there's some, I don't know if you can see it again because of the light, but there's yellow coming through. And then this guy, the face plate is throwing a spark. So that face plate's gonna be stainless, but there's a little bit of some ferrous in there that we gotta clean out to get that out. And then these little thread pieces. Not copper. They look copper, but they're not copper. So yeah, we'll clean this up, get a big chunk of brass, some stainless, and then we'll get the other scraps off of that stuff. And still more in the lock dumpster. We've got some coin cell batteries, a little dirty, but they're new. I have a bunch of these guys. It says SLD GRD Z-type lock key 851. A slide lock, is that what that said? Or a Z-type lock? I have to look up online and see what kind of application that lock goes for. But we got a few of those. Got some cable, more zip ties, tons of zip ties. This will probably ultimately just be scrap. This is all lock parts. Lots of little grease bags, some little electrical fittings here. These look like little plastic electrical fittings. More electrical fittings. Some of those little square nut dealios. More lock parts, tons of lock parts. This is called the Bear Claw Delta Lock .biz. More pieces. This stuff over here though, it's all magnetic, so you know, not a whole lot going on there. More lock cylinder assemblies. You know, lots of lock parts. Never really found a whole like locksmith type of dumpster. And then this is just a little surge protector. They're plugging into the wall there. I think it's a little 16 volt guy right there. Hey knitters. So I believe that's it on the lock stuff. And then I believe after that we got into the dumpster with all these monitors right here. I believe these are actual monitors or displays. It says display works for video games, arcade games. Because I found these kind of in the same area that I found, like if y'all remember a while back, I found like the deer hunter gun and that type of thing. But I believe these are little monitors for arcade games. I mean right there, that looks very much like it came off of a video game of some sort, maybe a little slot machine. This is totally right up the electronics guy's department. He loves video game stuff, especially like arcade game stuff, like the little coin drops I found a couple weeks ago. He's so stoked about those, but he loves video game stuff, and I love finding video game stuff for him. Couple more displays here. This one, it says LCD panel good, so we'll just leave that guy wrapped up. There were some ballasts in there, got those cleaned up, some sprockets. They could probably pretty much go to anything. This guy right here, it says it's a ticket dispenser. So we've got a ticket dispenser here, looks new. And then this was also in there, which is weird. This is a box, I was saying it's some sort of crimper. It's for corrugated boxes, like you go along the bottom and it puts those big metal staples in there. But it's all, you know, the whole housing and everything's cast aluminum. And then last but not least, we've got some cameras and another Nuvico for security cameras. Looks like it you could have like up to 10 security cameras on this guy. These guys typically have a hard drive in them if they haven't removed it already. This looks like SKU stuff from a grocery store. If you can't get rid of it, it's all scrappable. It's all scrappable for sure. Alright. And then just a couple of cameras, some camera parts. And then over here we've got a bucket of some cat wire. We've got a big electric motor. Got extension wire, a little bit of #2 copper, and some #2 wire. But anyway, scavengers, as y'all can see, we had a pretty successful outing out there again. Well, thank y'all for tuning into this follow-up. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to get cleaned up, make some room. Dottie's empty. Let's go fill it up. This is what we do as scavengers. But alrighty, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for tagging along. See y'all on that next one. Pshaw!